Hello again, and welcome back to another tutorial in the repair cameras and lenses. And this video, I will simply continue with the working with the Olympus 35 RD, and it has a sticky shutter blades, and there will also be other details in how actually disassemble this part of the lens and the shutter and so on. So let's have a look. It will be quite interesting. See, this lens, this camera has really a lot of dirt on the shutter blades, which we can see here. So if I advance the camera and set it to something full open, it will say 1.7, and advance the camera and simply push the button. You can see it's a bit, let's say it's just a bit slow. But if I cock the shutter again, you can see the blades will close. Not very quickly and not very active. You can just do it again. Whoa. Something happened inside, but it will not return to its closed position no matter what. It was set on half a second, but I can try to set it on something 125 and do it again. Well, it goes better, but it could also be the slow gear, but this is more like there is oil in the shutter assembly. So have a look inside how it goes. So is it possible to, yeah, no, it will not go, but we need to come into it. And if you have seen the the video before this one, because then I will just take out the self-timer, and it will also happen this time, but I will not clean it. Of course, I have just to clean it, but it's the actual same way to come into it. I will also take the bottom part, the bottom plate off, and of course the lens assembly will simply come out. There are 4 screws around here, which I also need to unscrew to take the whole lens assembly out. There is also something about the lens element, which is very dirty. So I would like to show how to come into that. And with this, I really had a problem when I tried to come into the back lens element here. No, the back lens group, sorry. Because it was extremely tight screwed in. So it has some mark on the inside some parts, but I will show you sooner. Just close the camera and then we go ahead. We need some tools, some JIS 2.5mm and 2mm maybe, and a 1.2mm flathead screwdriver. We need some dentist tools, is extremely handy. A lens spanner, something like this. This is a homemade, so but it will work pretty good. The famous cones, rubber cones, which is good for almost everything working with the lens and cameras. A good longer tweezer will also be okay. And we will also use some nail polish remover, especially with the acetone. And we will also use some hydrogen, not hydrogen, it's isopropyl alcohol, 99%. So let's dig into the camera, and I will simply begin with the advance button here, arm, lever, whatever it calls, and simply use my rubber tools here, which is actually really good for unscrew those kind of screws here. It's unscrewed counterclockwise, so by pressing this and at the same time hold on the lever here, we can hopefully unscrew it. Yeah, I mean, I could also use those two holes with a kind of a compass, a lens spinner, but sometimes you will make some marks on the holes here, which not looks really good. So off for that, and this is just what it is. And the next thing is their advanced lever, and there are two spacers in here, as you can see, a thin one and a little thicker one, but they have to be there. So, and also the film rewinder here. Do not unscrew. It's not necessary to unscrew the screw. It's better to just open the back and simply use a flat piece of metal or the end of a tweezer, put it here, and then unscrew it counterclockwise this way. So by doing this and simply unscrew it. This is how it looks. And the next thing is the arm comes out, and the axle here comes out, and there is a waved spacer here that you need to remember to put on. So, and then we can finally close the back. Here there is a retaining nut, which I also need to unscrew, and with my lens tool here, this should be quite easy. So, when it's loose, you should be able to unscrew it by fingers. So, that was part of it. I also need to unscrew the self-timer lever here, and this is unscrewed clockwise. So remember that, clockwise unscrewed. So, and I use my other lens compass tool and simply unscrew it. So, that's it here. There's a small screw here, a special one, which look like something like this. And this is the lever. It's a bit broken in here, but to me it doesn't matter. So there's only one screw here on the side, and it will be this one here. And I use a 2.5mm JIS screwdriver, not Phillips. If you use Phillips screwdriver, you could probably if it doesn't fit good, you could probably damage the screw. So now we're actually ready to take off the top cover, and I gently lift it off. Now remember, there is a wire in here for the flash accessory shoe, the flash shoe sync screw, the sync cable, and it's also soldered on a point down here. Okay, there. The shutter button itself also needs some attention, because it's could we have some autofocus here? You can see, hopefully you can see it's a curve here. It has been grind here, and it can only sit in one position. When you put it back in, it will say like the curve part here, the curved something, it must be grinded. It can only sit backwards. It will say it goes towards the back. Hope somebody understand it. Well, and now I will simply take out the self-timer, which you see here. Maybe zoom in a little. So here's the self-timer, and it's attached to the parts, to the actually part of the shutter inside here, and there's one screw here, and just keep a good hand on the back here, because I will not be I think it will be better to not unsolder this one, but it's easier to unsolder this one in here. The wire when the self-timer is out. So there's one screw there. So that's good with a magnetized screwdriver. And the other one. So, and now it's actually possible to lift out the self-timer itself by simply take it out in an easy way. Look how it's actually sit when it's correct put in. Sits like something like that. And when I take it out, you will see there's the lowest arm here. It will say this one. It has to go under this screw. And I have just cleaned this and lube the axle end, and it works pretty good. That you can see the other video about this. So now we're going to unsolder the green wire. I guess it's also green in your camera. It could be different. And I will try to use my gas torch solder iron, which is really good. It's very fast, and you can just turn it off when not use it. So, and it will heat up pretty quickly. Pretty fast. So, and the green wire is here. And it should be ready in and it's free. So, and now there is a screw on top here with a kind of a hook or something like that. It also needs to be unscrewed. And we can just let it sit on there so we know where it is. So this is how it looks inside. And it looks pretty okay. Nothing special about that. And put it aside. Now this is the part of the rangefinder, which we can have a look on it. And yeah, so I will just dig deeper into the well, because I want to go in from the front and take most as the parts out, and then unscrew the 4 screws around here and take the whole lens assembly out with the yeah, shutter, exposure gear and so on. And there's one screw that we also need to take out here. This one needs to come out because it's part of the, yeah, there's actually 5 screws holding the lens assembly, and this is one of them. So that's it. And let's get to the front. Take care of one thing. Here on the front, right just under the rangefinder window, there's a needle here, which is actually part of the exposure. I mean, not the exposure, but the aperture. I think it will be the aperture, yes. No. Well, I'm not quite sure how that is connected, but we will see. Now, okay, let's go into it from the front. There is a retaining ring just around the lens here, which we need a little sharper or pointier lens tool, because the 2 notches is not so big. So by setting it on here, which you can see here, and by holding the camera like this and simply unscrew it. So okay, so and then I can just unscrew it by hand. Oh, so it's pretty thin. And then set the lens to infinity, because it will be easier when taking out the front with the light meter eye or the CDS. And we can possibly just do so and let it fall into my hand. Okay, I will just use my dentist tool. This is very handy. Go under here and simply lift it up. So, and again I will use my solder iron because this is the CDS that's it there, which I need to unsolder. It doesn't really matter how the two wires, the black and the red, is attached to the CDS, but I just set a plus and a here with the red, so it's easier for me when assembling it again. So let's get it off. Where's my tweezer here? There are two plastic tubes, pipes over the solder here, so just to protect it from short circuit or so. And I will just fire up the solder iron here. Sometimes I like to use this solder iron instead of the electric because it's wireless. And it should be quite easy to unsolder. So the one wire and the next wire. So it is, and it's free. And now it's the next parts come out, and there is a lot to disassemble. Here you will see the exposure gear, where you choose what exposure time there should be, set on to 500, and if I turn it, oh, could the autofocus work? Yeah. So you see the gear will turn all the way over to B or something, and I will simply let it stay at B, because then I have a kind of a reference. You see, in this camera it's not the very end, the very last teeth on the ring is not used. So it is in this camera. It could be different in yours, but and on the other end it's well, it's actually the same. So yeah, there it's held in place. I mean, the front plate here is held in place by 3 screws, which you can see there, there and there. So out with those. And remember, there's a tiny steel ball here with the click from the exposure ring, so take care of that. Out with that. I have been into the camera before just to investigate how I actually could disassemble it. There is very little information about this camera, so I think it could be a good thing to actually make a video out of it. How to actually get into the shutter blades. It's a very good camera, very good lens. So why not just try to repair it. So, and out with this ring and take care of the steel ball. This is how it looks. And the steel ball, which you can see here. Just take it away. And I can also take the ring off here by simply take it out, and I will set it to 500. It doesn't really matter because this is just a reference point when I assemble the whole thing again. So over this ring, nothing special about that. And so it is. Now the next thing is that I really want to take out the plate here, hold by 4 screws, one there, there, there and there. And before going any further, no, I will take it next when this ring is off, because we need to set a mark before taking off the focus ring. So off with those 4 screws. So there. And the last one. And this ring can only sit in one position. It's good to know. Especially when you want to assemble the camera correct. So this is how it looks, and on the other side. And the hole here is for the exposure timer gear. So away with that. Now this is inside the where the focusing ring is, and the connection for the where is it going, like there? Yeah. But I think I will take off the front lens group, which is there are 2 notches here, one tiny one there, and there is another one on the other side. Remember, when you unscrew it, it can sit extremely tight. This one didn't sit so tight, but still it looks like somebody else has been into the camera, but anyway, I will just use my rubber cone tool to unscrew it. I need the bigger one here, and simply put it on. Put all the cones inside each other. It will be easier when pressing on it. Oh, yeah, you see the front retaining ring here comes off first. And it looks like there has been used some thread lock kind of, but there wasn't anything in this one, so I guess the lens has been disassembled before me when I open it. So this one is here, and then I will use my lens sucker to simply put on the front lens and simply take it out. Put it in a safe place. You know where it is. And now the next lens element is exposed, so take care of that. Now I need a bigger spinner. I mean, it could be, well, I will just give it a try to see if I can unscrew it by the rubber tool. Take care of this gear, not damage that or bend it anyway. You will have a problem. No, it's not possible. But I will use this spinner. It's a huge old compass, which is I have filed and grind on the end, on the tip, to work with disassembled lenses and cameras, which is really good. Have a good grip on it, and so, and it's free, and you can simply unscrew it with no problem. And so it is. Now put those parts aside, and then we dig into the actual front of where you can see the aperture plates. And before I actually take off the focusing ring, just to make it easier when assemble the camera again, I mean, set a mark here in the middle, here, and also set a mark here at infinity before you unscrew it. And you will do it two places here on the front of the focusing ring and under it, because there is, I mean, it's at the lower, I mean, under the focusing ring. Set a mark here too, so the marks are in line. Oh, so and now I can take off the focusing ring. There are 4 screws around here, one there, 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 and there. And this is set screws, which I need a 1.2 millimeter flathead screwdriver to unscrew those. Just unscrew them, I mean, not fully unscrew, but loosen them a little. And here. And this one here. And this one up here. So, then it should be possible to take it out. There is a fork here that is connected to this ring here. So take that off. This is how it looks. There is no need for unscrew those 2 screws. No way. Because this actually is the end, and it's actually the stops for the infinity and the near end. So, and now we can see here how it looks. Take care of the wires here. Now, to dig in deeper, we need to take out this lock ring that hold the plate here, this plate here. So by having a small screwdriver, one can dig under it and at the same time hold the other end and simply lift it up, go all the way around, and it's free. This is how it looks, very thin. Don't bend it because it has to have the lock function. And then I can take out this ring here. So put it aside, and then we need this screw here that actually hold the spring here, and this part here. And what is it? See, it's part of the aperture system. And yeah, I will simply unscrew this screw. It's a bit bigger. And take care of the spring here. So one can actually take the tension of it by use a dented tweezer and lift it out. And then take out the screw here. So, special one, which you can see here. And then take out the spring, and there is also a small tube here. So take this out, not a small tube, it's a cam here. That we need to, it's kind of a hook under here. So I need to take that out. Can be a little annoying. And there, and the spring is free. It looks like that. And then it should be possible to take this cam out. Oh. Not easy. And this is how it looks. And it goes in here, this hole. Now, you see, there are, to actually take the whole front section in here out, it's put in place by 3 screws. It's held in place by 3 screws. Yeah, you see 6 screws around here, but it's only this, and this screw here that we need to unscrew. And then it should be possible to take out the aperture shutter blade assembly with the back lens screw also, but I thought it was quite easy because of some guides on the internet, but it is not possible. I mean, you can break something, but to take out the back lens group, and of course also come into the shutter blades and all the stuff in here, we simply need to unscrew the 4 screws around here. So the whole lens assembly comes out of the house here. So what one needs to do is lift up the leather here, kind of leather, and gently dig under it so it's free and you can open it. So, and you see the 2 screws here on the side, and of course there are 2 screws on the other side here. So by dig under it, it can maybe in your camera sit pretty tight. So by simply fold it as much, I mean the leather here looks pretty good, not stiff and hard. So by unscrew the 4 screws here, I can simply take out the whole lens assembly. So, and on the other side here, so, and the last one. And there's one thing more. I mean, now I have all 4 screws are out, but it's not done yet because I need to take off the bottom plate here. If not, I cannot lift out the lens assembly, because you can see probably here it's loose at the moment, but I cannot lift it out because of the bottom plate. So there are 1, 2, 3 screws that need to be taken out. Okay, so there. And then, and the last one here. Oh. Of course I could have taken it off in the beginning, but well. So now the bottom plate comes off, and you lift it off here. Oh. See, so like this. Put it somewhere. And this is the bottom part of it. This is how it looks. And now I can actually take out the lens assembly, but before doing so I will just I mean the wires here need some care, because it will be easier to straighten the wires and then take off the plastic tube protection over the solder. So by doing so, and the other one here, That's fine. And now it's possible to lift out the wires here. It's attached down here in the bottom somewhere, but you'll see when I take it out, the lens assembly. So by simply pull it out, the wires will hopefully come out too, here on the back. And we can simply just pull it out, so. And one thing, this pin is actually the connection from the lens to the rangefinder. So we can actually see it in action if I put it in here. You can possibly see when moving the focusing ring that the pin will actually move. I mean, it's not the ring that moves, it's the front here. So if I push it here, now I will turn the focusing ring from near end to infinity. And we just do it again. So you can see, but there is a spring here on the rangefinder up here, and it will push on this pin. But I will also take that out because we do not need it right now. So there. And this is actually how it looks inside. And we need to also unsolder another wire to get the lens assembly here free from the housing. And I mean, it's just easier to work that way instead of trying to not damage anything. So I will see this one wire here, the black one. There are actually two black wires, but this black one is attached to somewhere down here. They have put the wires around, so I just need to find the correct one. It will be this wire here. Oh, so this wire here. Oh, this wire here from inside the lens assembly is actually attached to this point here. So I will unsolder it, and then I have a free shutter assembly. Oh, so in the frame. Fire up the heater, and then it will be quite easy to disassemble the rest of the shutter and lens assembly and go into the shutter blades itself. Goes. It's so, and it's free. Now that's great, because then I can simply take it off, because then it will be easier to work without the housing connected to the lens. So this is how it looks, and we could just take a look here where the parts is. Down here in the bottom part is the light meter. So, and it looks like the wire, the black wire here, is connected to the circuit board over here. I'm not quite sure if it works because I haven't tried to put in a battery. So it was therefore I want to fix the shutter first. So this is how it looks, and you see here, take care of the little pin here. And this is where the ring on the front is actually, when I move the exposure ring around here, it will move this gear, and it will end up in here. So when I move the gear axle, it will also move the gear in here. So now what I want to do is actually take off the inside here, but I couldn't really figure out how to actually, if I unscrew this screw here, this one, and this one here, I thought I could just take out the whole shutter assembly here, shutter plate, aperture plate assembly, just take it out. No, because somewhere in here, down here, there is a connection for this screw, and inside here there's actually a fork that activate the shutter blades. So I mean, one could unscrew all 6 screws and just try to take it out, but you will never be able to do it because of this gear here, because it's also connected to the underside, the back side of this assembly here. The repair manual, as I see it, didn't really tell that. So how to go into it? Well, I will just take out the connection for this for the fork in here. As you probably can see, the pipe, the tube there. Under there is a fork that activates the shutter blades, and it screws into here, and this little part, I don't know the name for it, it will simply open and close the blades when activate the shutter, as you could probably see there. I can try to advance it, so, and then fire it. So I have advanced the shutter, and then cook the shutter assembly, and look at the blades. It will be at the same time when this moves. So this one is unscrewed first. So a tiny screw with a big head. And then this special kind of fork is simply taken out. So it looks like the shutter mechanism in here, the shutter gear, actually works. But I mean, in some way, I think it needs to be, would say, unscrewed, and it needs some cleaning in here. So now it's time to actually separate the shutter gear here from the lens. So, and there are, oh, this spacer is also what was it? It sits somewhere. Where was it? I know where it is. It's not here. It's actually from the top of the housing where the rewinder sits. So it sits actually here. So it should be somewhere up here where you can find it. So now to separate the back here from the lens focusing shutter blades, aperture blades assembly, there are 3 screws around here. One there, there, and there. Those 3 screws is fully unscrewed. Take care of the little needle here. This one here. Not damage it. So unscrew that. And last point is this one here. Now take care of the fork in here, this fork here, which is connected to the shutter activation arm. So one can just lift off this part here, and you will probably see it's there. Oh, it's full off. And there is a wire here. And this is how it looks on the other side. So and the point is why one cannot really get this their lens shutter aperture assembly out, because of this fork here. And this is why you cannot even take out this axle here, not from there and not from there. So now I will actually go into the take care of the 2 pins here. Is for the aperture connection, both of them. So now I can unscrew the 3 screws, this one, and this one. I've just put an arrow here to make sure I didn't take the wrong screws when loosen it. They're pretty long. So, and there. So, and now it should be really possible to take out the whole shutter aperture plate assembly plus the back lens group here. So now I will just do so. I have a tweezer here, it will make it easier. So you see here how it is, and then it comes out. And this is why you cannot actually get this axle out, because it's put into a kind of a notch or something like that. So it can only sit this way. And remember how it sits actually. The longest part of it is towards the back of the camera. And the smaller one is of course towards the front lens here. So all for that. And now the more tricky part. You see, this is the pin that is connected to the actual shutter blade. Oh, maybe easier to show in that way. No. See, okay, there. So this fork here is actually go over the not easy. Okay, this fork goes over the shutter blade assembly, I mean activation pin, and it will, if I open the aperture plates, I can actually get close the, if it's not too sticky, and it is really sticky, so I now can close the shutter plates and open it again. It's extremely sticky as you can see here. So, and of course the form is that when you try to take out the whole aperture shutter blade assembly, this fork is not it's not possible to just take out the parts here, because this arm here is actually lock from the back lens group. So what to do? Well, I need to unscrew the back lens group, and that was where the problem comes. Because there is actually a ring here, which is only a light seal ring, kind of plastic. One can take it off, but the two tiny notch there, focus, there's one there and there's one there on the other side. I didn't see that because I couldn't see it when I tried to disassemble the camera. So when I got into the shutter plates, aperture plates assembly, I could see, okay, I can just take it off. But it's extremely tight. Even if I use the best tool I have, I simply couldn't get it off because they have used a lot of thread lock to hold the back lens group into place. I mean, that was fun. So I figured out, this is why I can tell you. I mean, I used the rubber tool here, and then I could only get the retaining ring that's actually hold the back lens element in place. So by putting it on here and press gently, one can actually unscrew the retaining ring. But that's not enough, because what about the lens? I mean, the full lens group here. So I use a good tool, but I make a little damage on here because it was simply too tight. So off with the lens element. So it's still fine. And then where is my big tool here? Because then I will use this tool to actually unscrew this. But before I did that, I actually used a lot of nail polish remover. Because it sits so tight, I don't know, has it been glued in with epoxy or something? I have no idea. But I give it a lot of this during, I mean, add a lot and wait 2 days and so, and simply add a lot again. I mean, you probably should also use a lot of nail polish remover because it sits so tight, and you really have to suck it in to the gap between this the lens mounting ring and the shutter plate, aperture plate assembly. But of course I have been into the lens before, so it is much easier, I mean, should be a lot easier to actually unscrew it. I can use this one here to have a good grip. Maybe it's a bit too big. Maybe this one is better. Take care of the 2 pins here, not to damage those. I probably could do something. Then have a good grip on it and simply unscrew it. Simply. But it, of course, because it was so tight, it's not tight at all now, but now it's actually accessible. So here you see it. And now we can actually access the I mean, no glasses in here anymore. And now I can actually go deeper into the just get rid of this. nail polish remover. And so we have full access to the blades. I mean, when I unscrew this, the 3 screws around here, one there, there, and there. Now we are a bit closer to the actual issue with this camera. So take care of the blades when you take off, separate the 2 parts here. I mean, it's not a problem with lifting off the front part here with the aperture plates, because it's holding place by a plate around. So it's a bit loose. Just loosen that for now, because there is a small spring attached to here. This tiny spring comes off, and now I can fully move the aperture plates without any resistance. So now I can continue with the last screw, and then I'm into the blades. So there, and now you'll see what's happened. I think doing so, and then it comes so like this, and this is how it is actually. Wow. So we can see the aperture plates is open and close. Yeah. That will be interesting to assemble again. There's one thing, as I see it, the blades are really oily. We can see there are 5 blades, but actually there are 6, because one is hidden under another. Now let's take a look on this aperture assembly, and just to be sure how it should sit. Well, it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guide pins where it should sit, but I will just do it a little better. I mean, easier to make sure when I put this plate on again that is it's correct assembled. Where's my dentist tool here? So by making a scratch somewhere here, maybe it's better over here, making a scratch here. Wow, you might think. And I will just make a tiny scratch here, because then I know where this should sit, even if there are some guide pins. If I need to disassemble this, I mean, it runs really smooth, but of course it's the shutter blades that is the problem here. So let's see if we can move anything. Where's the pin here for the to activate the shutter blades is here. We can also see the back side of here, and let's see if it's possible to gently open it. One should press down on here so it will not just pop out. And is it possible to open? It is. It's just because I want to see where the two blades are on top of the other. Maybe they have it looks like there is only 5 blades. Okay. One sits above the other. There's one here with a mark on it, but not on the other blades. So it could be, or is it just, oh, it's just dirt, something. Yeah, let's see, where's there. So I can try to open the blades fully. So it is. Oh, sorry. I can just do it again. Oh yeah, here we can see it. There's one blade here, and there is one under it. So there. Okay, we take off one blade. Here you can see there is actually 6 blades. So one, I mean, it must be number 1, and this is the 1A or 1, yeah. I think it must be. So it looks like they're all the same blades. So if I take off this and put it aside, then take the next blade here, and they just sit on top of each other all the way around. So this one is, it's quite simple. This one just has to sit here. So if I set a mark, just to remember, somewhere out here. So now I have a reference where it should sit. That's a good thing. So now I can take the blades out. Simply begin with this. Okay, it comes all out in one piece. That's amazing. So much oil. So there. And how does this one actually look? Okay, this one sits there, and I can lift out this plate which also needs some cleaning. Wow, see a lot of oil in here. And there is also a lot of oil here on the back. You see, it can only sit in one position because of the gap here and the gap over here. So it should sit something like that. Okay, this gap is here and this gap is over here, so it's impossible to sit it in a wrong way. Just so we remember. And is it possible to sit in a wrong position? It is, but of course the screw holes has to sit correct. Especially this gap here can only sit over here. So there is no problem in that way. So that's part of it. And I will also take this ring out. So really a lot of dirt in here. Very nice made. So now I will add some, I will use some isopropyl alcohol, 99%, and simply give the shutter blades and the parts of the shutter assembly a little bath so it can be oil free. I simply take all the blades and give it a little bath into here. Okay, not on top of it. So it looks like all the blades are exactly the same design. So, and this part here comes in. So it is, and just use a napkin to simply wipe all the and it looks fine. And then the outer ring needs also a shower. So, and with a cotton bud, one can actually go around here to wipe away the rest of the oil film, so it's absolutely free from whatsoever oil there must be on, because it has to run smooth and without any resistance. So there. Maybe I need some more of those. Oh, come on. Just need another of those cotton buds. It looks like there has been some dirt there. So there. And it seems like it's fine, free of oil. Funny noise. And we can just take a rest of it away, and it should be all fine after this treatment. So that's it. And I think it also will take this ring here, because there is a lot of dirt here. You can see it has to run free of oil. I mean, this is just as I see it. It is maybe wrong. Sometimes they have to have some lube, not lube, but maybe graphite. Oops. Wow, it will be good. I think I have a working camera when this treatment is done. I mean, I can actually put this on here. Oh. And then the plate here comes on. Has to sit there. And it's good because I set a mark here, so there's no way it can sit in the wrong position. It has to just sit there. There's a gap there. This is how it looks. And now I can actually install the plates when I have cleaned them. Okay, it's not easy to get them out. Wow, they will look fine after this treatment, without any oil in it. Wow, nice and fine. It's really sticky, this old oil or grease or whatever it is. It comes from the focusing system anyway. It's the only place it can come from. Take care of do not bend the blades itself. So there. Maybe I shouldn't put them there because there might be some oil. Oh, it looks fine. And come on, little fellow. There it is. So, in the next part of this, I will assemble the whole system. So, this is the assemble and cleaning part. Because if not, it will be a long video. Even if it's maybe interesting for you. So the plates look fine. Okay, so there. See? Wow. It looks okay. I mean, even if the plates are, I mean, the camera is pretty old, but I think it will be fine. Okay, that was a bit too much. I could have used some lighter fluid to clean the blades, but sometimes it's just, well, it's what I have. So now the blades are done, and with a little help from a tiny tool here, which it will make it a lot easier to actually put the blades on. It's a small lens sucker, and I will just use the angle because it's easier when showing on the video. Okay, well, it just fell off. Nothing serious happened. So there, just be careful when you add the blades that has to stay safe. And maybe I could use this one. No, it's not good. I'll just add it on the desk and simply add the blades by using this tool. So the first blade that goes in is this one, and it has to sit there. The next one, this one, it will just go above. There. And the next one comes there. And this one comes here. Oh. Come on. Whoa, they are so thin. So, and this one here goes there. And then finally, the last blade that goes in goes above here. So that, come on. So, and here we are. Now let's see if it works. Hopefully it works. Whoa. Now that's perfect. So I can, the next thing is I can simply just put the aperture assembly on and just put it should be faced this way. Remember this notch here is for the advance, the cocking gear, and it's the same on here, on this side here. So I should be able to actually hold this by my hand there and simply add this over. Oh, that was not good. Should do like there. And simply add the 2 pins. And then put it on. Wow. So, does it work? Well, let's see. But just to be safe, I just want to add 3 screws here, which was not this one. It was actually, therefore I set the 3 arrows here, so it will be easier to actually remember. And there it is. Safe. Safe home. And there is another arrow here. And then the last one here. So hopefully, hopefully it will work as it should. Wow, see, there isn't any kind of resistance in in the shutter blade assembly. And the aperture blades is actually, oh, the spring here comes in between, but I lift it out. So. And then the shutter and the, oh, that's great. There's absolutely no resistance. That's great to know. And it works as it should. Just, let's see, do so. Then the, so that's fine. And then it's just time to put all the things back into place, but there will be in the next part. So see you.